Hello everybody, my name is Resendez and this is going to be my demonstration speech. Today I'm going to be demonstrating how to change a tire. So the reason why I chose this topic is because recently I had a coworker who came into work and he was late. And just making small talk, asking him how his day was going and why exactly he was late, he told me that he was late because he got a flat on the side of the road and he was waiting for AAA to come and change his tire for him. And I asked him, why didn't he just change his tire himself? He could have made it here a lot sooner. He told me he didn't know how to. So I thought that this would be the perfect opportunity for me to share my knowledge with other people, and hopefully they'll never be caught in a similar situation after this video. So first we're going to start off with some basic car anatomy, basic wheel anatomy, which is going to be, here's your tire, which is flat, here's your rim, and these holes right here are what's called your lug nuts. Those little dots right there. Now what these lug nuts attach to are the hub. And these little posts right here are what's called threaded studs. This is what's going to be what the lug nuts actually screw onto. So in between the lug nuts and the hub are going to be the wheel. So this is going to tighten the wheel onto the hub. All right, so the first step is going to be using this tool right here. Some people are going to have what's called a star. Either way, you're looking for an end that has a sort of hexagon shape. You're going to use that to attach to your hexagon shaped lug nut, and you're going to loosen it up. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. You're not going to take the lug nuts completely off, you're just going to loosen them, and that's it for step one. For step two, you're going to bust out the jack. If you don't have a jack, I highly recommend you get one. Today, we're going to be going over the scissor jack. If you have a different jack, unfortunately, this video might not do you much justice. What you're going to do is get this jack under what's called a jack point. And the reason why I'm not going over those specifically is because they're different for every single car. You're going to have to go ahead and look up what your specific jack point for your car is before you start this process. Don't just put this jack underneath any part of your car and expect it to work, because it can and it will damage your car, and it might even drop your car, which would be completely disastrous. At that point, you should have just left it on the flat tire. Once you get this underneath the jack point, you're going to raise it up via this thing right here. One way is to raise it, one way is to lower it, and you're just going to twist it in either direction. Once it's high enough so that this top area right here is flush with your jack point, like so, you're going to attach this hook tool to the holes. You're just going to slide it through both holes, like so. After you get your hook tool attached to your jack, it's going to be sticking vertically out. As you can see on the other end of the hook tool, it is tapered. That tapered end fits into the other end of your hexagon tool right there. You're going to attach it like so. Now, with this hook end attached to your jack, you're going to use your tool as a crank, and you're going to crank it up the rest of the way. Now, I highly recommend that you don't crank it up too high, because if you get it too high, your car is going to get unstable. A lot of dangerous things could happen. Just get it high enough to get that tire off and get out. Once you have your car high enough, you're going to use your tool or your fingers to loosen up those lug nuts the rest of the way. Once you have all the lug nuts off, you should be able to remove that tire and get the spare tire on there. Once you have the spare tire on, you're going to replace the lug nuts and you're going to tighten them with your fingers as far as you can, and then you're going to use your tool to get it the rest of the way. Now, this is important. Your wheel is going to be up in the air from the jack at this point. You're not going to tighten it as much as you can. You're just going to get that wheel straight, because as much as you tighten it, the wheel's just going to keep on spinning because it's in the air. You're just going to get the wheel straight. Don't leave them super loose, because then you're going to damage your hub and your wheel. Make sure it's straight and then get it back down. Once you lower the jack back down, slide it out, then you're going to use the tool to finish the job. What you're going to do from this point is tighten the lug nuts in a star pattern, starting with the top, going down to the right, going up to the left, going over to the right again, and down to the left. And you're going to keep on repeating that star pattern until they are pretty darn tight. You don't want these lug nuts falling off, because if they fall off, there goes your wheel. And that's a dangerous situation. Other tips and tricks: don't drive far with your spare tire. It's very dangerous. You drive it from where you changed it to the closest tire shop, get your real tire fixed, get it put back on your car, and figure it out from there. Another tip is, some cars have what's called a locking lug nut, which means that it's gonna need what's called a special key. This right here is my car's special key for its locking lug nuts. So this right here is going to attach to that one lug nut, and then my hexagon tool is going to attach to that key. And that's the only way that I'm going to be able to take off that lug nut. So I highly recommend that you look at your car and you make sure that if you have a locking lug nut that needs a key, and it's going to have a special pattern on the tip of the lug nut. If you need a key, make sure you have it handy. It should be in your trunk. If it's not in your trunk, you should figure out how to get a new one. That's all I got for you guys. I hope you never have to use this information, but if you do, I hope it helps you out. Thank you so much for listening, and I'm sorry that the video is so long.